Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
And welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, in the description box below, it's very top link, I believe it is. Takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And finally, underneath that, there's another link. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,600 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group down there 365. It's called the New York Giants The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Very, very exciting. No, I mean, for some people, it's very, very exciting. It doesn't matter. I mean, there'll be people who complain. Period. It doesn't matter if the Giants if the Giants had the first 100 players in the draft, somebody complained about that. If we had 100 players and everyone was a Hall of Famer and we somehow were able to put all 100 on our team and we won every Super Bowl for the next 3,000 years, somebody would complain. So it doesn't matter. Not everybody's going to be happy. It doesn't matter who you pick. Not everybody's going to be happy. But that's what makes the world go round, right? But really, really good draft for the Giants. They want to, getting 2 guys. Okay. We're going to have, we're going to be talking about another guy. Okay. Who I kept bringing up. And I was bringing this guy up as well, too. But we got 2 guys in the first round. So nothing early tomorrow, right? The 2 guys we got hello, buddy. 5th-year options on. That's really, really good. Dable, he had his guy. He had his eye on his guy. I don't even know if Sanders. Did I? I think I clicked out of it, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. I don't even know if Sanders still even got picked. Because the Eagles are picked coming up, and I couldn't really give a rat's rear end about the Eagles. I don't care what they do. Care less. But Sanders was still on the board. It was, it got past the Saints and went all the way up to the Steelers and went past the Steelers. And then it's like, Sanders, Milroe, Dart, they're all still on the board and they're sliding, and it was like, then you hear trade. And it's like, who is that? The New York Giants. I'm like, whoa, we're not trading back into the first round to grab a water boy. I can tell you that much. So, and you keep hearing all this stuff, right? That, Dart is Dable's guy, right? We're going to go over, we're going to talk a little bit about Dart, Jaxson Dart. But that's what you kept hearing. So, when you heard trade, whoa, when you heard the New York Giants are on the clock line, get out of here. You just shut the front door. It's like, okay, all right. Maybe Jaxson Dart's in the house now. Of course, they're betting their jobs on it. Okay, because if you don't pan out, whoo, okay. Now the one nice thing, okay. I think it seemed like Shane really wanted to maybe keep that earlier 3rd round selection because it's the first pick in the 3rd round. Okay. So we got 65 and 105. Then we got a 5th round pick too, right? So he gave away 99, which is almost a fourth round pick, but it's our compensatory pick, okay? But so he kept the early third round pick, gave away the later third round pick, and given away a third round pick next season to the Texans. So the Texans slid back. The Texans got 34.65 and what? I'm sorry, 34.99 and whatever they're going to get next season will be a third round pick. But Shane did wind up keeping, right, our early third round pick. It was kind of like, what would you say, back in 2004, okay, which wound up being really good. Really, I mean, the Giants, had to give up a bunch of picks just to swap Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning, right? But the Giants were able to keep their second round pick that season. They gave away their third round pick, but they kept their second round pick, who was Chris Snee, which wound up being a phenomenal pick for the New York Giants. I mean, actually taking somebody in the second round, an offensive lineman, and he actually panned out. Woo, what a concept, huh? So the Giants still have the first pick, okay, in the third round. So, I mean, you don't know. I mean, if they got their eye on somebody and somebody just starts sliding toward the end of the second round, maybe they might jump back. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But the Giants still have the early third round pick. So they, quite possibly get another decent player. But, they got two guys in the first round, 2 fifth-year options. We're going to talk about another. I'm going to be on here for a short bit, but we're going to talk about somebody else's fifth-year option. Hint, hint, spoiler alert. But, very, very, very exciting. When I was live earlier on, I mentioned this, I say, stay around, maybe some people might go to bed or some people might just always watch the whole draft or whatever it is. But it's like, keep an eye on the back end because the Giants might jump back in to get a quarterback, especially to get their fifth-year option, but jump in front of the Browns or whatever and grab their quarterback, right? So it wound up being really, really worked out well. Really, really worked out well for him. I mean, we got Carter. I just hope Jaxson Dart pans out. That it can be interesting to see how long, he remains on the sideline, because between Manning and, of course, Daniel Jones, their first season, they all found their way onto the field as starters. So it's going to be interesting to see, right? I mean, we got Winston and we got Wilson, right? Obviously Wilson's the starter, but it can be interesting to see, right? Is there, if we start losing ball games or we start getting blown out one game or this, that, the other, does Dart go in or whatever? So we'll have to wait and see. But Dable did get his guy, but got let's see here. Is this the one? Oop. So just a little something quick here on Mr. Carter. This is from SI.com. Giants land generational edge rusher about Abdul Carter in round 1. So, and the one nice thing was really, really was great was that the fact that he, he basically went out as like, hey, right? I'm all New York now, baby, because he's coming from Philly and all that stuff. And if I get picked by New York, I'm all New York. So, but we should have a really good. It'll be interesting to see what the Giants do with the third round pick. Really, really going to be interesting to see. I'd love to see him get a defensive tackle. Really, really would love to see him get a defensive tackle next to Sexy. So once again, we'll have to wait and see. But regardless if they get a defensive tackle or not, all right, they did address the defensive line, which is cool. Okay. We want to also maybe possibly address the offensive line as well too. So we have to wait and see. But as expected, the Giants not only held on to, but the players went kind of like in order, so to speak, right? But the teams didn't go in order, right? Because we had the Jaguars jump up and make a nice trade with the Browns, and they got themselves a twofer. Basically, they gave up 2 first-round picks and a little bit more to trade with the Browns, but they got they got a wide receiver and they got a cornerback. So, I mean, they got Travis Hunter. So, I mean, they did pretty well for themselves. The guy's phenomenal talent. Really, really phenomenal. Be interesting to see as the season wears on. Does he play 50-50? 50% on offense, 50% on defense. It'll be very, very interesting. But the Jaguars, was so impressed with Hunter that they went and got him. Right? What are we at here? So, while many people view the Giants' edge duo of Burns and Kayvon as a team strength, adding Carter makes that position group even more dangerous. And let's not forget about Sexy in the middle. He can push the pocket. Okay. That's why, I mean, if somehow, if we could have gotten ourselves a really good defensive tackle somehow, and then maybe we'll do it next year or whatever, but, that would make it even more dangerous. My goodness. Oof. But truly great pass rushers usually have three edge players that can rely on to wreak havoc on any given play. In the Giants' case, they also have the best interior defensive lineman walking the face of the earth right now in Dexter Lawrence. Now, but the thing is with Sexy, what did he say here? They have the best interior defensive lineman walking the face of the earth right now. How many more years is that going to be the case? Because he's the best walking the earth right now. I'm not going to argue that. Okay. So happy he's on our team. But this is, I think, going to be year 7 for him. Right? He's not going to be the greatest, he's not going to be year 17, right? He's a 27-year veteran, and Sexy Dexy's still the greatest kid. Now, sooner or later, he's going to start kind of, so it would be just unbelievable if we can get somebody next to him who is just as good as him. But maybe next year, right? We'll see, right? Carter should allow defensive coordinator Shane Bowen to utilize the rookie's versatility. Now, let's not forget, right, with Carter, his first 2 seasons with Penn State, he was an off-ball linebacker. It was only this season here, okay, that he was put a defensive end / edge rusher, whatever you want to call it, right? So he's got some versatility. You can put him in multiple places, right? It's going to be up to Bowen to make all these guys happy, to put them all in good positions, and to utilize them, utilize their strengths and all that and everything. So it's going to be up to Bowen. Right? He has a good problem, okay, so to speak. He has, it's like where am I going to put all these guys? So that's a good problem, right? It's better than opening up the cupboard. It's like, man, we ain't got nothing. We got nobody. So. Right. So the Giants, think about it, right? We added Holland, we added Debo, and then we added Carter. And then last year we added Burns. So, I'm saying last year we added Newbin, we added Phillips, we added Burns. This year we added Debo, we added Holland, and we got Carter. Then we got Kayvon, and we got Sexy. Then a couple of years ago, we Bobby Okereke, right? A couple of years ago, we drafted Banks. Let's hope he lights a fire under his rear end, right? So, we got. Oh, I got my legs. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. So we got some talent on the defense. Okay. Let's see. So Carter should allow Bowen to utilize the rookie's versatility. He can play off-ball linebacker in addition to lining up on the edge. It's also worth noting that Kayvon is entering the final year of his rookie contract. So we'll talk about him in our next portion of our program here. But under General Manager Joe Shane, the Giants have tried to avoid having to pay players who enter their rookie option year, given large chunk change it takes to do so. Instead, as they did with left tackle Andrew Thomas and defensive lineman Sexy Dexy, they prefer to extend the players before they reach their option year. So, but to justify an extension, there have been a trend of the player usually achieving some sort of postseason honor, such as being named to a first or second team All-Pro or making the Pro Bowl. Kayvon has yet to achieve either of those, and he would run the Giants $14.75 million to have his option year exercised. But talk about that in a second, right? But Carter's strengths. Carter, elite first step, explosive into blockers on the line of scrimmage, and versatility making him a potential franchise-changing pass rusher. Now, I'm not going to call him Lawrence Taylor, but I mean, Lawrence Taylor took a team. We were 4-12. Right? We went from 4-12 to 9-7. We went from like the 27th or 26th best defense in the NFL to like the number 3 in 1 year because of Lawrence Taylor. Right? In just his first full season playing outside linebacker in 2024 or edge defender, defensive end, whatever you want to call him, Carter had the second most pressures in the country. Carter was under two pressures behind Indiana's Mikhail Kamara, but he also gave Kamara a 50-plus snap head start too. Many people will compare Carter to former Penn State edge rusher Micah Parsons, as the two are nearly identical in size and usage as off-ball linebackers who can become edge rushers. So we didn't get Micah Parsons a few years back, but maybe we got Micah Parsons too. We'll have to wait and see. It says, I only have 2 questions about Carter's talent and transfer to the NFL level, size and pass rush plan. Carter measured 6'3", 250 pounds at the NFL Combine. He didn't test in Indianapolis because a stress reaction in his right foot was discovered. So that's something we have to keep an eye on because MetLife's turf is not very loving, shall we say. So 2 weeks ago, medical rechecks in Indianapolis reportedly showed that the issue is no longer a concern. Okay. Still, it's possible his playing weight will be lighter, which could lead to some issues facing bigger linemen at the next level. Even then, Carter wasn't handled cleanly by bigger offensive linemen often in 2024. So this is more of a potential concern than a proven one. It isn't surprising that Carter doesn't have a refined pass rush plan considering his relative inexperience in the position. Outside of his spin move and his dip and rip, Carter doesn't have much of a plan as a pass rusher, but it's evident in the film that he was improving his moves throughout the season. Well, also another one of the things, too, is that, Lawrence Taylor didn't have, Lawrence just went in there and, he didn't know what he was going to do, right? The expectation for Carter as a rookie should be to come in and contribute in a pass rush specialist role while gradually being introduced to the more nitty-gritty type of plays and adding some mass. We think at first he'll be part of the rotation to spell Burns and Kayvon, but we can also see a world where he gets on the field at the same time as those two on obvious passing downs. Now, just think about it, right? You can drop one of them into coverage, right? But if you have Sexy and you got those other 3 guys, those can be the 4 guys rushing the passer. You got 4 guys that can get after the quarterback. On film, it's clear that Carter is a willing and able run defender, which is huge. Still, he needs more experience handling those responsibilities from the edge instead of being an off-ball linebacker where he spent most of his career. So, all in all, you got to be happy as heck. Happy as HEL hockey sticks, right? That, we got like one of the 2 best players in the entire draft. So Giants are off and running. So far, this draft's been, fantastic. They jumped up. They got their quarterback. That doesn't mean, as we're talking about here, right? That doesn't mean, they jumped up and they got Dart, right? That he's going to be the savior. And, we got the next 47 Super Bowls coming. That doesn't mean that, right? But they, out of whatever the quarterbacks they were there, okay, Dart was Daboll's guy. Okay. So, he's able to work with quarterbacks and he thinks, and because it's probably going to mean his job, right? If he's wrong. Okay. Because once again, you get a first-round pick, a quarterback, and it doesn't work out. It could cost you your job. So we'll have to wait and see. But the thing was, it was Daboll kind of told Shane, I think we can work with Dart. I think, if we can get him, it would be okay, right? So Dable spread the word. It was up to Shane to go get him, and Shane went and got him. So far, we got ourselves one of the two best players in the draft, okay? And we got ourselves a quarterback of the future. Now, once again, is he going to be the quarterback for the next 10 years? Who knows? He might only be there for a couple, 2-3 years. If he's not, he might only be there for a couple years, and then we'll be looking for another quarterback once again. But hopefully, if he doesn't work out, hopefully he's not around for 6 seasons like Daniel Jones is. I mean, that was absolutely just unbelievable. Hopefully we never, go through that ever again. All right. Let's see. Is this one here? All right. Here we go. So the Giants secured their long-sought quarterback of the future, hopefully, on Thursday by trading up into the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft to select Jaxson Dart of Ole Miss. Giants traded picks 34, 99, and a 2026 third-round pick to the Texans for pick number 25 in round 1. Shedeur Sanders of Colorado was also still on the board when the Giants selected Dart. Giants selected Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter with the 3rd overall pick. Dart, just only 21, okay, which is nice. Spent a season at USC and then 3 years at Ole Miss. He played in 45 college games, 41 starts. In 2024, he completed 276 of 398 passes for 4,279 yards, 29 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. He was named first team All SEC. Right, so, all right. Last time the Giants drafted a quarterback out of Ole Miss was some guy by the name of Eli Manning, right? That worked out fairly well, right? But I think Eli was a little highly higher regarded, okay, because he was picked number 1 overall, right, by the Chargers. With 37-year-old, 13-year veteran Russell Wilson and a 31-year-old, 10-year veteran Jameis Winston on the roster, 2025 is likely to be a developmental year for Dart. He won't face the pressure of having to start immediately. From Chris Flum, deep dive into Dart. If a team wants to draft Dart, they'll likely have to do so in the first round despite the risk inherent in the pick. He certainly has bust potential, though not as much as some quarterbacks in this class. However, he could also become a franchise quarterback if his future team is able to fully unlock his potential. Now, that's hopefully where Dable comes in at, right? So now the also to be interesting thing, too, would wind up being, all right, is does this give Dable at least another season? Like if Dart's on the sideline, for most of it, maybe he comes in sporadically. I mean, you'll have to wait and see. Is it Wilson, Winston, and then Dart? If we're getting blown out, I'm just throwing out there saying, we got a tough schedule. Say we're losing 40-0, just saying. Early in the 4th quarter, we make a quarterback change. Who comes in? Jameson or Jackson? Very into this thing. Very, very interesting. If the season starts going south and say we're 3-11, I hope not. God, I hope not. Right? We're out of playoffs. Who goes in the last 3 games? Is it Jameson or is it Jackson? Very interesting. But also, does this give? I mean, once again, if we wind up with whatever, say we're 6-11, not very impressive, right? Does this give Dable maybe another season? Well, he's developing. Had Josh Allen, he tried to develop him, right? So we got Jackson, so we're going to try to develop him. So let's get him on the field next season and let's see what we got. Right? So, right. Nope. Is this it? Okay. This makes round 1 a home run for the Giants. I wrote Wednesday about the dual objectives. GM Joe Shane had in this draft, getting better for 2025. Find someone in the draft Shane and Brian Dable could sell to the ownership as the franchise quarterback of the future. So Shane hit both marks. And getting Dart, he got the youngest quarterback in the class, and the one most analysts believe the Giants were targeting before the draft. So, right. So scouting reports. Dart is not universally loved by the scouting community. Check out the reports below. Right? Dane Brugler of The Athletic. With his physical tools and rhythm passing, he was an ideal fit in Kiffin's quarterback-friendly offense, although the simplistic nature of the scheme leaves NFL scouts questioning his post-snap decision-making process when his reads aren't structured and predetermined. So, if he's got to step back there and start right, I mean, we could have some problems, but that's going to be up for Dable to try to fix, right? The other key concern is his tendency to prematurely drop his eyes once the pocket gets heated. Keep the chin up, eyes down the field, even when you got somebody ready to rip your frickin' head off. That's not easy. Let's see. However, his athleticism to buy time and scramble for positive yards is an asset. Now, he's more athletic than Shador, without question. Overall, Dart needs time to develop his progression-based reads and anticipation, things he wasn't asked to regularly do in college. But that was obviously something that Dable will have to bring out at him. But he's a natural thrower of the football with promising mobility and high-level competitive intangibles. If allowed to develop at his own pace, he offers NFL starting upside in the right situation. So then we got, we got a few of them here. Pro Football Focus. A natural athlete and solid playmaker, Dart has earned an elite passing grade over the last 2 seasons. His playing style is enticing. He is light on his feet in the pocket, capable of slipping sacks, and possesses a decent quick release. His arm strength appears average by NFL standards. He is too comfortable throwing off his back foot, even when not under pressure. While his tape shows plenty of deep throws, his ball placement on those attempts leaves more to be desired. He is experienced in throwing concept routes that put a single defender in conflict, like a slant, a flat, a curl, or a smash route, but lacks anticipation when making full field reads. So his mobility is solid, and he is best suited for a shotgun-based system. So, I mean, sometimes, as we've had in the past, right, we've seen in the past quite often, right, is that like sometimes like with Daniel Jones, sometimes he benefits from the play action. On the center, turn around. I mean, of course, that does help when you have Saquon Barkley in the backfield, but on the center, turn around, make it look like you might hand it off to Saquon, pull it in, hold the linebackers or whatever for just a split second, then you drop back and pass, right? I mean, you don't have, you don't get that, much of that, right? If you're in the shotgun the whole time, right? There's not a whole heck of a lot of play action from the shotgun, right? His mobility is solid, and he's best suited for a shotgun-based system. So, having taken just 8 snaps under center over the last 2 seasons. So, but once again, this is stuff that it's Dable is going to have to work with. They went up and they got him. So, something without question, he's going to have to work with. Let's see here. Right, so I got his stats. Now he spent, he spent time with started 28 wins in 3 years as a starting quarterback at Ole Miss, which established another program record. He's 6'2", 225 pounds. Right, so he's not towering tall, but he's not under 6 foot. He's right in the middle. So maybe you'd like him a little bit bigger, but he's 225 pounds. But we'll have to wait and see. But he played his freshman season at USC in 2021 before playing 3 seasons at Ole Miss. He rushed for 495 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, he'll take off and run, right? He threw for 350 yards in 6 games in 2024. Now, one thing that, let's see, Dart has excelled in each of his 3 seasons at Ole Miss. He is 10,617 yards, 72 touchdowns, and 22 interceptions as a Rebel. So now I'm going to go over his got his stats here. All right. Now, one thing that I think it was Mel Kiper Jr. brought up, right, just after they drafted him, and you know, I said, I don't have time. I don't, not going to, never will. You know, watch the tape, the film. So I don't. I you know, guys who trade their lives to watch film, like Mel Kiper does. I take his knowledge. Lots of it there is. Let me tell you what. But one thing he was talking about that kind of made him was a little disappointed. I mean, Kiper's a Shedeur Sanders guy. I mean, he was hyping him up like a mofo. Let me tell you what. He loves him some Shedeur Sanders. But one thing that Kiper was talking about bad about Dart was, you know, in games against maybe lesser opponents, Dart really did pretty good. Like some good numbers, good stats, this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. When the competition got better, I think he mentioned Florida, who I think he said stunk. I think it was LSU, and I was in Alabama or Georgia, somebody like that. It was a couple of games. I think it was maybe last season. Okay, he went up against really good competition, and he didn't really perform. He completed under 60% of his passes and stuff. So, I'm sorry. It's all right, buddy. It's okay. I'm sorry, buddy. My leg. Okay. There we go. Okay. Sorry, pal. You know what I mean? So he didn't really rise to the occasion, shall we say. Now, also, to be fair, you know, it's tough to maybe rise to the occasion if the guys around you aren't very good. You know what I mean? If you're going up against, like, you know, the elite, right? It's, you know, maybe you can raise your level of play or whatever. But I mean, if everybody around you is not that good, I mean, if everybody was that good at Ole Miss, they would be fighting for maybe a national championship or something. So, but what Kiper was talking about is in some of those games, the big games, he didn't look super spectacular, right? But see, so we get in USC his first season, right? He completed in each season, his completion percentage got better, right? USC, he completed 61.9% of his passes. 2022 at Ole Miss, 62.4. 2023, 65.1. And this past season at Ole Miss, 69.3% of his passes. So almost 70% of his passes he completed, right? He had 4,279 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Now, the season before that, he had 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So the past 2 seasons at Ole Miss, he had, 52 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And he completed like probably 67% of his passes. So, right. But, once again, that's in college, right? For his career, he had 11,970 passing yards, almost 12,000 passing yards, 81 touchdowns, and 27 interceptions. So, right. This past season, he 10.8 yards per pass attempt, which is very, very impressive, right? So, once again, there's some good, obviously, once again, we're taking a quarterback, right, in a not phenomenal quarterback class. Now, does that mean that Dart was going to turn out to be garbage? No. Does that mean that Shedeur Sanders is going to turn out to be garbage? No. Does that mean Milroe can't, in time work out to be no, of course not. But I mean, as of right now, from all the stuff you hear and all, it's not a phenomenal quarterback class, right? Next season is, right? But hopefully the Giants got themselves the quarterback of the future, and it's going to be up to Dable to really work his stuff with Jaxson Dart. It's going to be very interesting. All that I said is that if the Giants' season isn't super spectacular, does this give Dable a second season with Dart, especially because Dable, this is his quarterback. This is his baby, right? Also going to be another interesting thing, too, is going to be does as far as like maybe calling plays, right? Is this going to free up Dable? Maybe have Kafka calling the plays again, and Dable can be on the sideline trying to concentrating more on what's going on out there, but also trying to work with Dart. It'd be interesting to see. Right, a lot of interesting things. But I mean, the Giants did very, very well in the first round, and then pretty much this was almost like right after the Giants, 15 minutes or so after the Giants picked Carter. All right, I'm Adam Schefter. Well, it's only because he gets the news or something goes out to him. So it's not like people, oh my God, I'm going to call Adam Schefter. I got to let him know. I mean, the Giants or whatever, then, they're like, oh, Shane's now, oh my God, I got to call Shefty and let him know. Now, I mean, I guess they tell the office, and the office, the NFL office, whatever it is, in the NFL office, whatever, spreads it out to the certain guys that spread the news. So Schefter's, I think, is one of them. So he came out and he reported the Giants are picking up Kayvon's fifth-year option. So this was this was another huge, thing is that, what's going to go on with Kayvon, right? And chances are, I think I read a little article there. I think it's like $15 million it's going to cost the Giants next season. But it was a huge thing because it's like, well, they got Burns, now they got Carter. What are they going to do with Kayvon? They're going to pick up his fifth-year option? He's going to want whatever, $20 million a year, maybe 20, 25. I don't know. What's he going to want? Are the Giants going to want to pay that? Don't know. Because you got Burnsy, like $29 million a year, right? I think Carter's going to make about $8 million. I think it's around that. When I looked, I think it was the number one pick got about $10 million. The number two pick gets around $9 million. The number three pick gets about $8 million. So Carter's making around $8 million. Burnsy's making about 29. And then next season, you're going to have Kayvon making about 15. I mean, that's a lot, right? Then you're going to start looking down the road, right? I mean, now, of course, by the time Carter, if he stays healthy and all that stuff, winds up having to get re-signed after his rookie deal's over. What's he going to want? $40 million a year if he can stay healthy. So, but it was a big thing. What did the Giants? I was reading some reports the Giants might, take their pick number 34, throw Kayvon in there with it, and try to trade back into the first round with the team. But that ain't going to wind up happening because Kayvon's obviously with the Giants this season. He's picking up his fifth-year option next season. And then if you're picking up his fifth-year option, it would be kind of crazy not to at least try to offer the guy a long-term contract, add him for another 3 seasons or something like that. So, but that was a huge thing. So it's nice that we're going to have, this season and next season, we got 3 edge rushers. So, and we got sexy. So this season and next season, right? We got 4 guys, 4 real good guys. And let's not forget about Golston either, right? Let's not forget about him. Yeah. He had a nice, sneaky good year with the Cowboys. So the Giants to pick up the 5th-year option on Kayvon. Giants will pick up the 5th-year option on the rookie contract of outside linebacker Kayvon. Joe Shane told the media Thursday night the general manager spoke after the selection of Abdul Carter, another premier edge rusher with the 3rd overall choice. Kayvon is going to be here. We're excited to have him. You can't have enough pass rushers, Shane said. Between those guys coming off the edge, Dexter, Nacho, and I got Roy Robinson, Harris. I'm excited about the D-line. We added Jeremiah Ledbetter, Chauncey Golston. So we're turning the corners where there is some depth at some of these positions, and that will really help us. I'm excited about the group. Again, we're phase 1. So Shane Bowen and his staff and Brian Dable will get together and figure out the creativity of how they're going to utilize the personnel. The deadline for clubs to exercise the 5th-year option for players selected in the first round of the 2022 draft is May 1st. As laid out in the collective bargaining agreement, Each player selected in the first round of the draft has a team option for a fifth season automatically included in his contract, which extends a 4-year rookie contract to a fifth season for a non-negotiable fixed amount. I really like that. It's non-negotiable. Okay, after their 4 years is up, I really, really like this. The team can pick up their fifth-year option, but they also the guys get a raise too. They don't get a full amount like what they might want to, but if the team decides to exercise that fifth-year option, right, which they're probably not going to do on Evan Neal, but if they want with Kayvon, right, Kayvon gets himself a nice little raise. It's guaranteed money, but it's not skyrocketing, right? So teams must exercise this option in the time after the conclusion of the player's third regular season, but prior to May 1st of the following league year. So by next Thursday, right, they have to exercise that, right? So Kayvon, the fifth overall pick by the Giants in 2022, started all 43 games in which he has played over the first 3 seasons. His career numbers include 21 sacks, 26 tackles for loss, 46 quarterback hits, 11 passes defense, 6 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, including 1 for a touchdown against the Commanders. I don't remember, it was the Commanders of the Washington football team when he did it, but Kayvon is the first Giants defender with at least 21 sacks in the first 3 seasons since JPP had 27.5 sacks from 2010 to 2012. He's currently 19th on the franchise all-time sack list, trailing teammate Sexy Dexy, who has 30 sacks in 6 seasons. Kayvon's 11.5 sacks in 2023 are tied for 17th most by a Giant player in a single season. It was the 33rd double-digit sack campaign in team history since it became an official stat in 1982. Kayvon's first career sack came on a game-clinching strip of Baltimore Lamar Jackson, 2022. Giants went on to make the postseason. We know this. Kayvon's 19 sacks in college are tied for 7th in Ducks history. He was the 4th player in program history and the first defensive player to be a unanimous All-American selection. But there's this other article here, okay? So the Giants will exercise Kayvon's 5th-year option. Entering the 2025 NFL Draft, many believe that the Giants would select Abdul Carter, the number 3, overall pick, and then trade away Kayvon. Half of that proved true on Thursday night. The Giants did select Carter 3rd overall, but they were not willing to trade Kayvon. Rather, they will commit to him for at least 1 more season. Speaking to reports after the selection of Carter, General Manager Joe Shane revealed the team will exercise Kayvon's 5th-year option, keeping him in East Rutherford through the 2026 season. So I said, so for the next 2 seasons, right? We got Carter, we got Burns, we got Sexy Dexy, we got Kayvon. That's a nice front 4. I said we got Golston, too. We got him for 3 years. I really would love for us to get us a nice, good defensive tackle to put next to Dexter. Really good defensive tackle. But Kayvon is going to be here. We're excited to have him, Shane said. You can't have enough pass rushers. All right. Kayvon responded, yeah, we going crazy. Kayvon responded. I guess after they told him maybe they were picking up his 5th-year option, he went on X and he said, yeah, we going crazy. So he knows he's getting himself a nice little boost in salary. I had it here somewhere. Carter shared similar sentiments. We're going to dominate, he told reporters. In addition to Carter and Kayvon, the Giants also have Brian Burns and Chauncey Golston as pass rush options on the outside of nose tackle Dexter Lawrence. Now, I had it here somewhere. Maybe it was another report, and I X'd out of it, maybe. I don't know. That's possible, because I am a moron. I do stuff like that. But I do believe I saw it was going to cost the Giants about $15.5 million to pick up his 5th-year option. I thought I saw that somewhere. Maybe that must have been another report. Maybe I must have X'd out of that. That's possible. But so for at least this next 2 seasons, right, we got a Fab 4, right? It's going to be up to Bowen to figure out what to do with all these guys, right? I said we got Nacho. I'm not overly thrilled with Nacho. He was supposed to really help with the run game. Run game's been very spotty. Run defense been very spotty. Okereke 2 seasons ago under Wink had a nice season. He wasn't horrible last season, but he took a step down. But he also got injured. His back also got injured too. So that might have played into possibly maybe his downgrade of play. I'll have to wait and see. But I said, if you look at last season, of course we lost Xavier McKinney. I get it, but I said, look at last season, and this draft's not even over with yet. Okay, it's not even over with yet. Last season we added Burns, we added Newman, we added Phillips. All right. This year we added Holland, we added Debo, and we added Carter. Right. And we had Kayvon, we have Sexy, we have Bobby Okereke, Mike McFadden is doing pretty well for himself. Right. So I'm not saying we're going to be a top 5 defense or something, but we got some playmakers. And I said the draft's not even over with yet. Right? We still have I can't remember what pick 5 we have. I can't remember round 5. I can't remember. We still got pick 65. So we got the first pick in the 3rd round. Then we got pick 105. Okay. So I'm not sure. I guess you never know. But is Shane done wheeling and dealing for this draft? I mean, because we have some holes. Okay, if not some holes, we certainly we can use some depth too. So we could. It would certainly be nice if they drafted an offensive lineman. Really would be nice. Take a running back. Right? If there's a wide receiver out there, and add some depth to the wide receiver. So you can add somebody to the offensive line, right? We got some holes or some questionable, some depth that we certainly need. So is Shane going to start coupling up more picks and moving up to grab one guy, or is he going to? So what do we got? We got a 3rd, we got a 4th, we got a 5th. So we got 5 picks left. We went into this draft with 8. Okay, but we gave up 3 of them tonight to get two players. So we're down to 5 players. And then, of course, a lot of times you get those 7th round picks. Doesn't mean the 7th round pick is going to be garbage, but more often than not, a 7th round pick is a 7th round pick, right? So, but the 5th round pick, I mean, if he can do as well with the 5th round pick as he did with Tracy last year, okay. If not, I mean, if we can get somebody who's maybe a good, decent, some depth in the 5th round pick, right? But boy, I certainly hope that with the next 2 picks, 65 and 105, the Giants really knock it out of the park. Yeah, but so far the draft's off. We got ourselves a nice front wall, defensive wall, and hopefully we have our quarterback of the future. And all this stuff's going to wind up remain to be seen, right? Does this give Dable an extra year, right, to hang around because he drafted, Dart supposed to be his guy. Well, let's give him another season if the Giants don't do so well this year. If and when does Dart get into the lineup at all this year? Right? It'd be interesting to say, because that was always one of the questions or whatever, like when Eli, right, got drafted in 2004. Was he going to actually get into the lineup? We got Kurt Warner here. He's a former MVP and all this stuff. And is Eli going to make it in the lineup? And we were 5-4. Eli Manning went in. We were 5-4. Actually, we were 5-2. We lost 2 games. And so we were 5-4, but we still had a chance at a playoff. Right, Coughlin's first season, all that, he pulled Warner, put Eli in there, and the season tanked. Right, it was the same thing with Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones going to get in there? I mean, we got Eli Manning. He won us 2 Super Bowls, yada yada yada, all this stuff. Daniel Jones made it on the field his first season, so it's almost the same kind of thing here. We got Russell Wilson. He won a Super Bowl. He should have won 2 Super Bowls. If not for the stupidest play call in Super Bowl history, he would have won 2 Super Bowls. We got Jameson Winston. Is Dart going to make the field? We'll have to wait and see. But so far, so good. The Giants got themselves a blue chip player and hopefully their quarterback in the future. All right, guys, man. 50 minutes. I'll be back again tomorrow night. We'll talk about, I guess, maybe our one and only selection in the 3rd round. So, all right, guys. So it's been 50 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of our means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.